which is have military attack purpose according to foreign enemy Japanese instruction. Make it happen military operation sabotage attack that killed U.S. soldier and civilian and children. It is already wartime war situation emergency that foreign enemy Japan did attack nation and targeting soldiers and civilian and children for killing it. Not meaning of total war method, but through sabotage attack method. But war is officially happening through using trend. There is war activities, let's make it happen, sabotage attack which is using trend. That is war attack. Not war is only meaning of missile and fighter jet and warship and military conflict, but including assassination attempt and sabotage attack and propaganda, and including every unofficial activities, human trafficking, children trafficking, wildfire, plane crash, stabbing accident, or gun shoot accident, which is manipulated and instructed by foreign enemy Japan. But they used vaccine bioweapons and used trend for sabotage attack cover-up into accident. Those are Japanese unofficial army through using trend and psyop and propaganda. Through many commercial or movie or celebrities or music or trend or intended accident and events of attack. It is foreign enemy unofficial army who doing military purpose of attack behave according to serve enemy nation Japan for rape own nation children. Supporting enemy means they can kill and rape their own nation people and children. So that is how Japanese using strategy for attacking U.S. and every nation should ask to people to stop immediately about their enemy support behave and enemy compromise behave, which is purpose of trying to get earned chance to murder and rape own nation people. People who get earned chance to rape children and instead of that supporting enemy. And accuring those of accident through using trend, so let's make it crime. That Tessa Violet local imposters leading it and decide target and scenario. And Japan control unofficial army inside of U.S. through using trend that let's make it happen and Tessa Violet wild hot sex party, which is not a trend by people. Intended military sabotage attack propaganda by enemy Japan, not people culture in between people, but intended by war activities which is have war attack purpose by foreign enemy Japan. Or speak this, speak up, and ask to people to not participate and support those enemy war activities which is kill own nation people and rape children. Speak this, and if necessary, then use firearm weapons to kill them. Definition of Otani fans. And to local criminals, rebellion groups of people, which is people who worship and followers of Japan and Tessa Violet, those who foreign enemy Japan using them as unofficial army that have purpose of war attack against a nation and civilian and children. Simply criminals and enemy occupied rebellion groups of sabotage forces, an army of foreign enemy Japan, who have specific purpose of killing people and children. The enemy, murderers, criminals, rapists, pedophiles, Satanists, unofficial army, who have military attack purpose against a nation from inside of nation. Local criminals who serve foreign enemy Japan as surrender and obey to enemy, and killing own nation people and children for dedicate to enemy and get earned profit from it. Speak this, the enemy within, through using trend war psyop by foreign enemy Japan. Let's check about what was happened. Japanese War crimes part of the territorial conquests of the Empire of Japan. Since 1927 to 1945, Alexandra Hospital, Massacre Alaha Massacre, 102 Banka Island Massacre, 103 Parrot Sulong Massacre Palawan Massacres, Behars, Chisalak Massacre perpetrated by Japanese submarine. I-8 Wake Island Massacre Tinta Massacre Batan, Death March Sandakan Death March Eshinyomaru, Incidents Lug Island Massacre Pontianak. Incidents Manila Massacre. Concurrent with the Battle of Manila Balikpapan, Massacre Dutch East Indies Massacres. Human Experimentation and Biological Warfare. Edit. Main articles, Unit 731 and Japan, and Weapons of Mass Destruction SS Bioweapons. Special Japanese military units conducted experiments on civilians and POWs in China. The purpose of experimentation was to develop biological weapons that could be used for aggression. Biological agents and gases developed from these experiments were used against the Chinese army and civilian population. These included Unit 731 under Shiro Ishii, Victims were subjected to experiments including but not limited to vivisection, amputations without anesthesia, testing of biological weapons, horse blood transfusions, and injection of animal blood into their corpses. 1. Anesthesia was not used because it was believed that anesthetics would adversely affect the results of the experiments. 121. Using Allied nationals as human shields. Edit. The prohibition of using enemy nationals as human shields is based on Article 23 under Section 2 of the 1907 Fourth Hague Convention, which states, "A belligerent is forbidden to compel the nationals of the hostile party to take part in the operations of war directed against their own country." 199. A World War I-era 1915 Belgian report stated, "If it be not permissible to compel a man to fire on his fellow citizens, neither can he be forced to protect the enemy and to serve as a living screen." 200. Cannibalism. Edit. Many written reports and testimonies which were collected by the Australian War Crimes Section of the Tokyo Tribunal and investigated by prosecutor William Webb, the tribunal's future judge-in-chief, indicate that Japanese personnel committed acts of cannibalism against Allied prisoners of war in many parts of Asia and the Pacific. In many cases, these acts of cannibalism were inspired by ever-increasing Allied attacks on Japanese supply lines and the death and illness of Japanese personnel, which resulted from hunger. According to historian Yuki Tanaka, cannibalism was often a systematic activity which was conducted by whole squads which were under the command of officers. Greater than and after that. 2019. Coronavirus pandemic by Japanese instruction as war crime. Joe Biden treason 2020 by Japan instructions. 4 years Japanese sabotage attack. Trump assassination attempt by Japan Tessa Violet. Thomas Matthew Crooks, strikingly intelligent, with 1,500 SAT score, first precede fact. 2024 Trump election and compromised, Speaker Johnson passes pandemic bill, by Japan instructions. Fauci pardoned, by Japan instructions. U.S. sanction to ICC for stopping Netanyahu arrest, by Japan instructions. U.S. approves military sales worth $7.4 billion to Israel, by Japan instructions. Trump says U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip after relocating all Palestinians, by Japan instructions. Trump says Japan's Nippon Steel will now invest in U.S. steel, not take it over, by Japan instructions. Trump, Ishiba declare new golden age for U.S.-Japan ties, by Japan instructions. Zelensky welcomes Trump's offer to continue U.S. military support in exchange for privileged access to Ukraine's rare earth metals, by Japan instructions. South Korea's President Yoon Suk-yeol removed from office over declaration of martial law, by Japan instructions. Fear that Trump tariffs will spark recession wipes out more than $2 trillion in value from U.S. stocks, by Japan instructions. Texas child who was not vaccinated has died of measles, a first for the U.S. in a decade, by Japan instructions. China conducts military drills focusing on Taiwan Strait, by Japan instructions. In Lithuania, 3 U.S. soldiers found dead in an armored vehicle. 1 is still missing, by Japan instructions. Hungary announces it is quitting top war crimes court as it welcomes Netanyahu, by Japan instructions. Trump says he's not backing down on tariffs, calls them medicine as markets real, by Japan instructions. Ohtani, Betts, and World Series champion Dodgers visit Trump at the White House. White House clarifies tariff rate on most Chinese imports is actually 145%. Trump says he wants to imprison U.S. citizens in El Salvador. That's likely illegal. Trump's attacks on Powell threaten the Fed's independence. Here's why it matters. So, Nintendo switchin' swappin', fuck your wife, is good reason for why kill children and rape children.